Well, a first video. Opinions are like body hair. Everybody has some. And as you can see, I have a lot of them. So, why am I starting with this? It's simple, really. It's a starting point, a way of introducing people to the kind of things that I care about. Not simply because I game or am a gamer, but because it's about equality and how some people seem to deny equality as being something that's good or fair. Diablo 4 is a game. It's as simple as that. A lot of people play it. A lot of people seem to make a hell of a living out of it. The dad gamer, as you can see, that is pretty much who I am. A casual gamer, somebody who has a small amount of time, occasionally, to play a video game. A dad gamer. In fact, a granddad gamer. So, what does dad gamer mean? I think for people like Macro Boy Boy and Rob and Racks and Tracks and all of the other I spend my life sitting at a computer and have never done anything at all with my life, dad gamer is an insult. To me, what it means is I've actually had intercourse in my life, which I believe they're unlikely to have had. They're the kind of people who run screaming to the developers of the game if anything happens that gives somebody like me a chance to be overpowered. One of them even admitted during the Season 7 public test realm that they'd found a flaw in a Druid Boulder build that allowed the Druid Boulder to be so powerful it could finish anything in the game in seconds, wipe the floor with Pit 150, kill and maim anything in its path. So, of course, they had to run to the developers to scream foul, because they didn't want people like me to be able to enjoy the game without the effort that they put into it. You arseholes. Every last one of you is only interested in one thing and one thing only, and that's making life harder for anybody who doesn't have the time to do 17-hour live streams. I don't have that time. In the name, I work for a living. I'm a carer for somebody who has some extreme disabilities. And so if I get 2 hours once in a while to play a game, that's what I do. To relax, to take some time out. You don't like that. You don't like me being able to kill Duriel in a second and a half. You don't like me to get to Pit 130 without real effort. If I'm not willing to grind for hours upon hours, live stream and make videos about all these things that often somebody else has done for you, you might grind, but somebody with a calculator and Excel has worked out how damage will work and how this will interact with that, and they've done all the real hard work, and you're duplicating the builds and trying to refine them very slightly, and then coming online and saying, oh, look at this, as if you did it. Yes, you're putting links to other people in there, but you're still allowing people to think that you're special in some way. Whereas my belief is if you can sit at a computer for 10 hours and do nothing else but play games, then really that's what you are. A computer warrior, sit at your desk and complain about other people. And the dad gamer is the first priority for you to smack down. The purity is being diluted. That's where you come from. The diluted purity of your race. Gamers, in this case, is being diluted by these interlopers. The problem is, when Season 8 was going to be made a great deal harder, I think the attitude was, oh, you won't be able to one-shot these terrible demons anymore. Oh, you'll be lucky to get to Pit 100 if you're a casual gamer. In fact, I think you're unlikely to get past Pit 70. And they smiled quietly to themselves. Yes, the developers had given in to the voices of purity. My problem is, you already have 2 levels. You can play at softcore, as I do, or you can play at hardcore. And it would not have been difficult for developers to simply make hardcore 100 times harder than softcore, so that people like you could feel special again. Whereas people like me could simply enjoy the game. In fact, there would have been no struggle for any decent coder or developer to simply put another level in between. Softcore, normal, hardcore. So that somebody like me might just have gotten to a point where they could do everything at normal and still reach Pit 120, Pit 130. No, all you're doing is cutting out an awful lot of people. And to be honest, an awful lot of people who are also paying for the game. They're not getting a free copy from developers because of their name. They're purchasing what they need, what they play. They're spending time that sometimes they don't have a lot of. And people like you are trying to insult them. Dad gamers, casual gamers. Let me give you a little bit of history. In the 1980s, a man called John Hilton. He was a table tennis player. He was old for table tennis players, 32 by that time. He'd managed to work his way into the English team for the European Championships. He was 1,000-to-1 outsider in the singles event, and he won the entire thing. Did he do it because he was one of the most skillful, athletic people in the world and just misjudged? No. He found an exploit. In those days, table tennis bats had to be the same colour on both sides, and he had put one type of rubber on one side that killed any spin that the opposing player put on. And on the other side, he put a different type of rubber which would do something completely different. It would then stamp his foot aggressively so that nobody could tell the difference between the two sounds. And an awful lot of players simply beat themselves. They thought that what was coming back across the net was a really heavy backspin chop, but there was no spin on it at all, and aggressively they would knock the ball off the table. He beat some of the world's greatest players by exploiting a bug. He won the European Championship. He was ranked number 1 in Europe, number 5 in the world, but only number 3 in England and only number 4 in his local league, where people had gotten used to what he was doing. He wasn't a bad player. He wasn't an incompetent player. In fact, he'd found a way of twisting the racket in his hand so that he could constantly be on the move and nobody would be able to tell what he was doing or how he was doing it. He beat the system. People like you don't want other people to beat the system. Like the richest people in the world, they don't want people to beat the system. Beating the system might mean them getting up as high as they already are. You don't want people to succeed. You want people to stay at their level, to stay down there. But that defeats the company's objective of having a lot of people buying their game, playing their game. This makes money for them, and you're stopping them from winning. You're stopping the company from winning by whining like little babies every time somebody like me manages to succeed. You don't like it. You don't want it. The purity of your race is being diluted. That's your way of doing things. That's your way of achieving, stopping others from doing the same. You're all out there happily playing your game 10 hours a day because you can make money on a channel or on Twitch or on another system by playing your game and making yourself seem so far superior. Oh, look, I've beaten the Pit 150 in 4 minutes and 23 seconds. So what? Do you know, in Season 7, I got a number of mythic uniques by killing the main monsters at Torment 4, and it was the first time I've actually seen a mythic unique drop in 2 years. I was overjoyed. I managed to build a Bloodwave Necromancer who managed to get as far as Pit 140, as far as I'd ever gone. I was proud. I didn't build that build. I followed somebody else's build and got it together and managed to get the pieces I need in the 2 hours doing certain things and working in certain ways and taking advice from people who actually cared about letting other people achieve. And then up came Season 8 and suddenly people like you were overjoyed because people like me were going to be pushed down. People like me were never going to get to Pit 150. Only very special people were going to get to Pit 150. Really? Does that make you hard? Does that get you off? Does spitting on other people get you off? Well, enjoy it. Because it's the only getting off I think people like you are likely to ever get. You can be up there with all the other incels, sitting at their computer saying, "Worst game ever." Up to you. You can live your life to elevate everybody, or live your life to downgrade everything. It's your choice. You could make a good one. Or you can be like your lords and master and just stamp on anything that you think is beneath you. I'll play the game, or I won't. There's always other things to play. There's always other things to do, and all you're doing is damaging your reputation and the reputation of the company that's making the game. It's surprising how many of you are screaming about Path of Exile 2 and how many of your favourite builds have been nerfed. Yes, when it happens to you, you don't like it. I was enjoying myself. But this is harsh. But then being harsh to people like me doesn't matter, because we don't really take the game seriously. Well, no. It's a game. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's meant to be enjoyed. And if enjoyment is being able to achieve something, just that little something in the game that only a small number of people do, and as a casual gamer, dad gamer, granddad gamer, that's what I manage. Good for me. But not good for you, obviously. Please like, share, and subscribe. There will be a lot more videos on a lot of different subjects. Believe me, the people who enjoy their purity are not going to be having a good time listening to me. Not at all. Till next time.